Alright, so one of the hotkeys again.
Your overhead.
Mm-hmm.
3 and 4. 3 is your back. That's probably the one that's more useful. And 4 is the front angle.
So one.
Really 1 and 2. 2 is going to be to address the camera. 1 is going to be to start the face cycle. All right.
Yeah, 1 is overhead, 2 is wide. My mic on? No, not the mic 2. The mic 1. Oh, I'm on. Alright. What's up, guys? It's favorite artist Ben here. So, how's everybody doing? So I am taking a slightly different approach for our regulars. Taking a slightly different approach to this stream. I'm actually doing something that I did about a year ago. What's up, Sky Kid? Crossing. Dan crawling along the floor. Oh, thanks, buddy. So doing something I did about a year ago for Hardee's. Not doing what I did for them, but the way I did it was something that I enjoyed doing. They wanted everything to be pancake colored. They didn't want any colors on their pancakes, so I had to just mix a metric crap ton of brown. And and the process was different than I was used to, but I liked it because I didn't have to worry about color so much, just tone and contrast. And it kind of opens up it opens up your brain to sort of not think about some of the helps. I don't know what it helps. Helps something. It feels nice. That's the important thing. So I've got a few things here. I've got a few basic references. that I'm going to use here just to sort of as a general guideline and go from there. So we're going to start. So also, I don't know if anybody was here during my last stream. I wanted to give a slight update on that because I had mentioned that it's most likely I'm going to be redoing the pancake that I did on that stream, and I did. So for anyone, I'm going to switch to the overhead here. So anyone who watched the stream last week, this is what you got. It's Eddie Van Halen pancake. I wasn't particularly thrilled with it, but I was also, it's a really difficult one. There's a lot going on, and so I knew I was reaching, and I knew there was a good chance that I wouldn't pull it off. So I did it. I wasn't thrilled, so I redid it, and switch back to the overhead, and that was the end result of the redo. Took me 4 hours, but 4 hours spent. So I mean, it's been asked before, but like that's totally fine, because if you don't like it, it's a good question, and if you don't know the answer, it's worth asking. The colors that we use, they don't change the flavor at all, because they're an extremely concentrated. They're an extremely concentrated food coloring gel. It's the same thing that cake decorators use. So you only have to add a few drops. Like, I think the darkest color here, this brown, probably took maybe, I went pretty intense on this one, so probably about 12 drops altogether. But even that, like, there are 12 small drops for this 8-ounce bottle. So, and then like small for this one right here, this very light brown, it was probably one. It was actually, it wasn't probably, it was just one single drop. And a lot of the colors you see us use on our stream, it's just 1 or 2 drops for one, whenever we do one of the small bottles to fill up for a little 2-ounce bottle. So yeah, so at the end they still taste like pancakes, and that's important, because if it didn't taste good, there'd be very little reason to actually make it out of pancakes, like, because we can make it out of anything. So why make it out of food if it's not worth eating? It's pancake batter. So, but we use so the coloring gels. So we use a specific brand. I'm gonna pull one out here. I'm gonna pull out a big bottle. We sell these on our website in kits, so this is what we use right here. And I'll switch to the overhead and show you guys real quick. So this is the brown that we use, and this is the same brown that comes in our kit, just in a smaller bottle. And it is it's a liquid gel food color, and it goes just in regular pancake batter. Cake decorators put it in icing, but they also put it in like macaroons and stuff too. So anytime you see like colored macaroons or anything like that, or even red velvet cake, like actual red velvet cake is just made with unprocessed cocoa, but like most of the red velvet cake that you buy in the store is just chocolate cake with red liquid gel food color. Yeah, all that stuff, like that's, the stuff we sell on our website is the same stuff that we use here. So, all right. So hopefully that answers the question. It depends. Like, as far as like how long it takes to do a piece, I would say, I mean, that Eddie Van Halen one that I just showed you guys took me about 4 hours. So obviously that's kind of an extreme case. But then a lot of them, the stuff that we do live takes between 5 and 10 minutes. The simpler detailed stuff can take, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So yeah, it varies from piece to piece. But I'm gonna start on this while I talk, because obviously we're here to make pancakes. So let's make some pancakes, and I'll still be looking at the chat here to answer everybody's questions, or if you just want to have a chat about anything. It doesn't have to be about pancakes. So the first one I'm doing here, I am actually making a. I'm being slightly meta, and I'm gonna make a breakfast item with breakfast food. I'm gonna make breakfast food out of breakfast food. And you guys will probably it's a it's a fried egg. No, I'll save the surprise, or I'll spoil the surprise here a little bit. But I like making. I enjoy making food items out of this. It's kind of interesting to take that approach. I know one of my favorite pancakes that I did a while ago is actually made avocado toast pancake, and I don't know. There's the irony of making food out of a picture of food out of food, but also there's so much imperfection within that. I'm using a reference for this fried egg, but I'm using it as a general guideline. It's not going to be exactly what this fried egg, this egg that I'm looking at is. As a matter of fact, none of the pancakes I make will be exact replicas of what I'm looking at, and that's sort of the point. Because I don't, I use references to remind my brain of how the pieces of the world fit together, whether it be anatomy or even, the pieces of a fried egg, because you think you remember all these things in your head, because, who hasn't seen a fried egg before? But human brains are silly and a little dumb, and so we forget these really basic details. Yeah, you're always welcome. Do you mean to be a moderator? I can yell at Dan real quick to hop on the YouTube chat and do that. Can you say hi to me? I absolutely can. Hi Natalie. Yeah, absolutely. Maya, you can if you know the answer to any questions, feel free to chime in. I might double up on what you're saying just because I might start talking before I realize that you answered it. But y'all are free to you always talk. You can. The chat isn't just to talk to me. You guys can talk to each other too. So yeah, you've been around enough of our pancake creations to kind of have an understanding of the process, and you've heard a lot of these questions asked before because we get a lot of the same questions. So you're always welcome to chime in. Anybody is. Where is Dan? He's in the other room. He's taking care of. I don't know what he's taking care of. He's we're all sort of sharing a stream. Joy of Pancakes is the Dan Cakes thing. It's so there's other things that Dan Cakes that have to get taken care of outside of this. So we all do the stream, and then we also all share on the back end side of Dan Cakes too. He's not my. He's my brother from another mother. So I met Dan. So we're part of a. But we have a pancake art company. So we've got multiple artists here. So we've got Dan, we got myself, Ben, and then Dana, and then we've got other artists in other cities. We've got Ryan in Dallas, and Lee in Phoenix, and Jenny in Anaheim. And but yeah, so like, yeah, we have the three artists here, and so we all participate in the process of streaming and making content and all that. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird, the idea that we have multiple professional pancake artists. Like, that's like, huh? Like, that doesn't it doesn't make much logical sense. Like, how's that a job for one person, let alone multiple people? But for some reason, whatever reason, here we are. And so yeah, and I've been doing this for about, Dan's been doing it for, he's been doing it for about almost 10 years now, or 8 years now, but he's a while. And I jumped on here, and I jumped on 2015, a couple years after the business started. I met Dan about 6 months after pancake art, the Dan Cakes came into existence. Like, I met him playing drums in his band, and we were just friends. And like, he wasn't even doing it for a living when I met him. He was still working at a diner. So it's weird how things have evolved into what they are now. It's a strange and wild existence that I don't totally understand, but I just go with it. I'm glad you're enjoying today's stream. I'm enjoying it too. Now, the last stream that I did, I have a tendency to get insanely ambitious, and sometimes not in the proper context. Because being ambitious is not a bad thing, obviously. Like, you want to be, because that's how you get better. But I think attempting that Eddie Van Halen that I did, knowing how difficult of a piece it was, and knowing that there was a good chance that it was something I would have to do more than once, probably was not the best piece to debut myself on our live stream. Like, there's always a chance with anything that I do that it's not going to turn out as good as I wanted, or that it might turn out better than I wanted. Sometimes, a lot of times, I'm concerned that something's not going to. I'm just like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, and then I flip it over and I'm like, oh, holy crap, that's way better than I thought it was, or way better than I intended. And because yeah, that there were so many moving pieces on that Eddie Van Halen that even doing it and expecting to be able to pull it off in 2 hours was probably a bridge too far, because it's a full body pancake with a crazy pose, with all sorts of wild perspectives, because he's like turning a guitar, and like his head's in a weird position and his body's all twisted. And can I say your whole name? Yeah. Hi, Natalie Castillo Nieto. Am I saying that right? I'm probably I pronounce everything very American, so like there's a good chance that I flubbed that. So let me know if I said any of that incorrectly, and I will promptly correct myself. So how was everybody's week? Natalia. Oh. Right, did I say Natalie? Whoops. My brain. I'm terrible with names too, but not necessarily saying them, but remembering them. That's sort of a side note. Anyone else here terrible at remembering names? Thank you. I'm glad you thought the first one was good. I knew I could do it better. And that's, I never want to do anything less than you know, as close to my best as I can. Pancake art's weird because you can't, because it's always you can't always, because you can't see it till you flip it. So there's always a bit of an aura of like maybe, and there are no, at a certain point there are no takebacks with any of it. So you just kind of have to go with it and accept it. But you know, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. I'm extremely hard on myself. So if I'm not happy, so a lot of times, like I want it to be, as best as I think I can do. And even my second attempt, like I still notice things that could be better, or things that didn't go quite like I expected, because you know it's a process and we're all still learning how to do it. You know, even though we're you know, quote unquote professionals, we're still figuring stuff out. We're still discovering new techniques, and so I think there's pretty much any pancake you've ever seen me do. There's always something about it that I'm like, that could be better. But that's kind of how I never being totally satisfied with what I do is sort of how I push myself to be better. I feel like if I flip something over and I didn't see anything I could do better, that I would be doing something wrong. I always tell some of our other artists when we were teaching them pancake art, I would always tell them, like, it's not about making mistakes. Like, you're gonna make so many mistakes doing pancake art. Like, that's par for the course. Can you see your mistakes? Like, that's the most important thing. And I think that applies to all sort of arty things. Like, if you can't see your mistakes, you're not going to be able to fix them. So like learning how to acknowledge your mistakes, how to see where you might be falling short is a good way. Like that's the best way to get better. Oh, we'll see you, Natalia. All right, so we're doing the yolk. I keep track of my browns here. Flip these around. That's the darker of the two. So I've got a few different things that I'm doing. So my first one, I'm being a little meta here, and I'm making breakfast food out of breakfast food. So I'm doing a fried egg, and it's sunny side up to be specific. And then I've got a couple other non-food items. The title of the stream sort of. I'm glad. Right, the egg looks like. I mean, eggs kind of look like amoebas if you really think about it. Like they're not that far off. But what was I saying? Oh, the title of the stream, like, what did I put for the title? Your mistakes might be burning. Does apply a little bit. Obviously, we're talking food, so there's the obvious, the very on the nose, like food burns. But especially with the last piece that I'm planning on doing, I've got 3 pieces I'm planning on doing during this stream. That one, I think ties in with the title the most. Yeah, we're doing fried egg first, and then I've got a simple. So I like using it's a simple. I've got a simple reference. I like taking simple references and complicating them. Sometimes it's almost easier to take something simple and take something that's simple, not necessarily realistic, and add realism to it than the other way around. So I've got a sunset of birds, sunset with birds flying off into it. And then the last one, and these are all going to be, especially the last one is going to be almost entirely original. I've got a very basic reference that doesn't really represent the final piece at all. But that one will sort of, should I save that one, or should I sort of try to describe it? So I'm not sure how, because it gets a little it's a little dark, but not in a. Oh, thanks, Becca. Yeah, eggs. Like I remember the Hardee's, because it hasn't aired. I don't know if it's ever going to air, because I don't know if they're ever going to release this particular sandwich that I made these for. I mean, we never signed an NDA, so like technically I can talk about all this stuff. And hopefully someday they'll air it, but who knows with everything that's going on. But they had me make a bunch of test pancakes before they decided to have us come out and do it, and obviously it all had to be pancake color, like I was saying, and it was really, yeah, I remember doing the fry. Like they had these really simple designs, like really basic designs, like stuff that I could have made years ago when I was first starting. It was so basic, and like I showed them that, and I added a little bit to it, but like nothing crazy. I pretty much stuck to what they showed me. But then I got there, and we had a day of rehearsal, and so it was a situation. So they were having me make these pancakes to sort of see what they were working with, and then they were also wanting to see what I could do. And at one point, I was just like, I had to make a pig, and I just sort of asked if, like, can I, pun intended, can I just go ham on this and kind of like really let loose and show you guys what we can actually do with this medium. And so they're like, yeah, sure, just like make the pig however you want, because it was rehearsal, so it didn't really matter so much because the other ones were so easy for me to make. And so I made I went for a fairly realistic looking pig with like a surprised look on his face. And as soon as they saw it, they were like, oh crap, like this is what you can do. And like any of us could have done it. It wasn't like Dana or Dan could have done it too. I mean, I think I did it in a unique way because I have a doing it. I tend to have I've sort of developed this weird style where I can get almost like watercolor-esque shading and gradients. But as soon as they realized like what we could do, like the entire changed, and they basically let me dictate the entire art direction of the commercial. Like they had these basic guidelines, but I literally every single piece that made it into that shoot came from my brain. And that was, I think that's the first time anything like that ever happened. Like it was a very satisfying experience to actually make 100% original art that somebody wanted and like was going to be used, even if it's being used for a commercial for breakfast sandwich. But yeah, just the fact that I had free reign to do the whole thing, like that was probably my favorite experience ever doing pancake art, because most of the time it's just, someone hands you a picture and you just do it, and like that's totally fine. But I'm usually simplifying what they hand you or whatever. But I'm like I'm basically like doing it as close to what they gave me as possible. And that's great, and obviously it pays our bills and all that stuff, but it's really cool when you sort of get to let loose and sort of like show off. All right. So you live off memes, as does Dana. I think we all live off memes to a certain extent. I'm on Reddit so often that, I mean, half of like I don't try to keep up on memes, but just by proxy of me being on Reddit constantly, it seems like I'm always more in the loop than I'm trying to be with that stuff. But a lot of people call Reddit social media for people who hate social media, and I feel like that's probably a fair assessment. Like I don't hate social media, but I don't always enjoy being on there. Like my own personal social media, there was a moment where I was like really into doing it and like trying really hard to grow a following and stuff, and I was doing a lot of photography and stuff like that, which I still do, but I sort of just kind of walked away from it a little bit because there's a lot of weird stress and mental, like trying to feed an algorithm is weird on your brain and not necessarily healthy. All right, so I think we grommet mug memes. I don't remember those. I'm probably, if someone showed them to me, I'd probably remember. But all right, so we're getting close here to the final countdown on this here egg pancake. And we'll see if I still remember how to make a really cool fried egg pancake or not. So it's been a while since I just dug in and did like, so these it's the equivalent of like black and white pancakes since we're just using shades of brown. Oh, flipping art dude. Heck yeah. What's up, Ryan? How's life in Texas? So for anyone who's new here or not familiar, Flippin' Art Dude is our Dallas artist. And he's got his own YouTube channel and stuff and Instagram where he puts up his pancake art. And like he was already really good when we found him. That was part of the reason why he's our Dallas artist. But he has just grown by leaps and bounds. And yeah, and he's just a really cool dude. Like he's a good guy, and we're thrilled that he exists and thrilled that he likes working with us. Yeah, y'all should go subscribe to his channel too. Definitely subscribe if you're on YouTube. Definitely subscribe to Dan Cakes if you haven't already. But also, go subscribe to Flippin' Art Dude's channel. because he's rad and he does awesome stuff. All right. Yeah, that's definitely something we're working on. My like, because we've got art. Because it's weird because we had so many events before that working with our other artists was as simple as like, hey, we've got an event here. Can you do it? And then we just all, hop on different planes and meet in some city. And that's obviously not a thing right now. So like we're in this new strange territory where we're trying to figure out like how does this work when you shut up phone. Sorry about that, guys. Should put my ringer on silent. I'll do that here in a second. You could even hear that my phone ring. But yeah, so since we're like leaning more to these live streams and stuff, and we've got our other artists sort of just off doing their own thing, which is great because like we obviously want them to do that because we've all got to, if we want to, if events ever become a thing again, we want to make sure that we're all still sharp and hopefully better than we were before. But yeah, figuring out how to include our other artists in our live streaming, and then like I know our artist Jenny is doing a lot of her own pancake art live streams, so we rehost her stuff on our Twitch. Identified art, I believe, but she's on anytime that we're not streaming, and she is. It goes up on our channel. So I think that's definitely something you'll be seeing. All right, so I think we're about ready to gonna fill this in, and we'll see what happens. And let's see. This, and then we've got our plane's gonna end up being our fill here. So. Oh, come on. Alex, seriously? Now I got to step over here and hop on the YouTube chat and ban you because you're being dumb. Cool. You're awesome, Alex. Thanks for being stupid. All right, he's hidden and reported. It's all good. Taken care of. I'll just keep the YouTube chat over here in case someone else, they can't come back unless they come back under a different account. They've been, even if they've been shadow banned, they've been reported. Their messages have been, I got deleted some of the messages. I need to go, like, it's, so yeah. The internet is full of good people and crappy people. So having to deal with crappy people sometimes is a bummer, but that's the world. All right. Anyways, on to less depressing things. So we're gonna add. Yeah. Danny boy walked in here. You missed all the fun, Dan. Someone hopped on YouTube and started saying the N-word again.
Oh, cool. We'll pick them out.
Yeah, they're gone.
Banned.
Yeah, they're banned. They're reported. All the fun stuff. And I said a few other things too. They call Maya the B word, and you know, just things to try to rattle everybody's cages.
Your cages rattled?
Not really. Yeah. It's just annoying that it's more annoying that it's like that's great. Now I got to go on YouTube and ban you real quick. Like you're wasting my time being a prick.
I'm gonna go ahead and make my
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing. Don't let the power go to your head, Maya. Ah, he's back. Cool. Thanks, Alex.
Mine is a moderator now, so just have her ban it.
Yeah. Just report him and yeah, report him, hide him, and all the things. He'll be back apparently. Thank you, Maya. I appreciate that. Looks like he'll be back in a few minutes. It seems like. Seems to be that's what he's seems to be what he's into. So. Okay. I want to outline around this, but I don't want to. I want to try to ruin any of the contrast here. Yeah. Yeah, we've they're going out today. It's the last 2 weeks have been weird, and like I will take the blame on that. I was supposed to post them, and I dropped the ball. Uh, so yeah, I've got them all on my laptop, and they're gonna get posted tonight. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That's awesome. I might even be. It's possible. I might even be using the reference, theirs as a reference. I just found a realistic, drawing of an egg. So, and sort of based it off of that. Yeah, thanks, Pancake Life. Yeah, we had our stream cut off once, because someone came on and started saying a bunch of stuff like that, and yeah, it's frustrating, but now don't even give like that. And the reason we got cut off was because like I gave them a warning. I was like, hey, better cut it out. Don't be a meanie head, and and then they did again, and they cut our stream. So, all right. So I'm gonna. Oops, my keyboard not here. Oh wait, I'm not in OBS. I can't see me changing. All right, so we're on the overhead now. All right, guys, ready? 3, 2, 1. Awesome software. I guess Maya, I hopefully you're taking care of Pancake Live there. That's sorry about that, guys. Wish I could let you ban by IP address. There's our first. Thank you, Maya. Thanks, Sky Kid. All right. So there's pancake number 1. There's the fried egg. Some food art made out of food made out of food. No, there's a lot of food in there. That's what I'm saying. All right. I'm gonna flip over to my next reference. So now Dan usually kind of wings these, and I personally I love doing original pieces, but even when I do original pieces, I almost always have a reference. It's just to keep everything straight in my head, because I think it's a similar reason to why I was talking to Dan about this earlier. I was talking about how I can watch I can watch movies over and over again, and I'm okay with it. And I think it's because I don't remember details as well. I remember arcs and I remember concepts. Excuse me. And but a lot of time little details just go like in one side and out the other, and so it allows me to watch things over and over again because I'm not remembering all the little details. But I think that also means that a lot of times when I am drawing something that I think I would know all the pieces to just by memory, I don't at all. I just I have like a very vague idea. I have a good idea of the concept, but then when it comes to actually like putting all the moving pieces together, some people just like to watch the world burn, right? That's what I've heard. Now I'm gonna step over here and I'm gonna get a wet towel just to kind of help cool off this griddle a little bit. So I'm gonna cut my mic so you don't hear a bunch of rushing water. Okay. And I'm back. Ooh. Looks like I'm gonna go grab a clean towel here. That one was not. You're wondering why I talk too off to the side is we got a hamper over here. And I'm back again. Yeah, that's no fun, Sky Kid. That some people are just, and it's weird because most of these, it's like, you know, they love to get online and goad people on, but they wouldn't do that to a person in real life. It's weird how much easier it is to be terrible to somebody else when you don't have to look them in the eye. All right, so hopefully this has cooled down enough. Need to keep some ice cubes around or something so you make cooling down the griddle quicker. Actually, wait, what am I thinking? I'm in a pancake studio. I'm in a pancake studio full of griddles. I can just grab another one. That's pretty cooled down. Watch this trick, guys. Oh. Ah, almost dropped the tray. There. I'm just gonna set this to the side. And when I finish one pancake, I'll switch to the other griddle that's had more than enough time to cool down. All right, now get this all straightened up on the camera here. All right, so we're ready for pancake number 2. Welcome back, Maya. All right. So this next one, you know, I could say I could try to come up with a deep meaning behind it and say it represents something, or and like it does. It's art, like art. Something, you know, it always represents something. But honestly, sometimes it's like it's just a beautiful image, and like that's all it has to be. It doesn't necessarily have, you don't have to ascribe some deeper meaning to it. Because if it evokes a feeling, then that's all the deeper meaning you really need. And of course, the next one, and the last one I'm going to do on for today after this, will be much more, they would say, arty farty. It will have that deeper meaning, or maybe no meaning, all depending on your perspective, really. Which I always like doing that kind of stuff, where it's like it means everything and it means nothing all at the same time. We're doing 3 pancakes today. So after the last stream, I sort of decided, like, I always want there to be a chance that it's not going to turn out quite like I want. Like there's an importance to sort of, leaping without a net, or, but I also don't want to give myself something so insanely ambitious that the chance of me pulling it off are slim to none, at least on my first try. So I decided that, if like I'm giving it a basic ratio, I don't know if this is actually what it would be, but I'm going to pick stuff and ideas that would land me like about a 75% chance of me pulling it off. Like I still want there to be that element of surprise and like, oh yeah, that's, like I don't want to do stuff where it's just like, I did a Mickey Mouse and it's like I can do a Mickey Mouse in my sleep at this point. Like I'm gonna pull it off every time, 99% of the time at this point. So like that wouldn't be any fun. But I also do something so insanely ambitious live that I'm pushing myself to a place that's probably beyond the limits in order to get better. Because I do that stuff so I will get better. Because like I learned a lot doing that at Evan Halen Pancake, and so like I always want to do stuff like that. But those are good ones to show up at the studio at night and spend, 2, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever, just by myself, nobody else in the studio, and I got some good music playing, and I'm just kind of like in my element, in my zone, nothing else to focus on. And I think, and that's what I did when I came back to the Eddie Van Halen Pancake, and it obviously it turned out much better, and the experience felt better for me, because like I said, I knew going in to that stream that there was pretty good chance that what I was doing was going to end up getting done again. I'll see you later, Software. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time here. Okay. So we got our basic, just our sort of grassy area here. So I gotta. You sub to our channel? You sub to Flippin' Art Dude? Heck yeah. I know at some point here, hopefully sooner rather than later, but everything's sort of up in the air with everything as far as logistics. But I know there's plans, there at least there's talk of me heading down to Dallas, and helping Ryan with the video setup that he has, and getting him set up in a way where he can make videos for himself, but also make videos for us as well. Because I know, like, there's a lot of stuff that, I think, Dan and myself and Dana, we're not, like, I like sports. I prefer playing sports over watching them. I used to watch sports a lot when I was a little kid, but like Ryan and Hank, they're much more into the sports stuff than we are. So like I know Hank would love to do a bunch of like sports teams logos and stuff like that, but he feels weird asking us to do it because he knows it's not really our thing. So like having someone on board like Ryan, like I know at least I think he does. I'm putting words in his mouth here where like that kind of stuff is sort of his jam. So having someone that is more in tune with that to do those pieces would be really cool. Yeah, he's got some really, really cool ones. I'm trying to think some of the recent. He did a bunch for CMT. There we go. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, we all have very diverse taste here, and like, but we all also get along really well, which is amazing. And so like between me and Dan, like our tastes are, not quite opposite ends of the spectrum, but not that far off either. Like we and so it's like what I lean into making, what he leans into making are two totally different things. And like having as much of that as possible is awesome. Like that's the kind of stuff you dream of, to have those kind of people around you. Because who wants to hang around a bunch of yous? I don't want to hang, like, one of me is enough. We don't need any more. Oh yeah, it's definitely going to happen. Matter of when, not if. Because we've had our artists, Jenny and Ryan, they all have some videos up on Dan Cakes and stuff. It just the way everything lined up with this pandemic and stuff, it kind of stopped everything dead in its tracks. Because we had Ryan here, I don't remember when it was, but we flew him out here to like give him a crash course and just sort of hang out and get to know him and stuff. And then he's done events with us and everything, and so like you know, all the plans were the same as they were with any of our other artists. Is like, you know, they do events and everything, and then like when we can, we get them out here and make videos with them and stuff, and then yeah, everything. Then the world exploded. So I guess it's weird. We went from. We doing something particular for Halloween? I don't know yet. Like I feel like we should probably do a stream or something. Like I like I know usually Hank has like a really killer Halloween party, uh, but I don't know. I don't think that can really be a thing this year, or if it will, it'd be severely downsized. Because like we don't really see people outside of Dan Cakes, just for I mean, not just for our safety and for everybody else's safety. Like we want to avoid getting, you know, I mean, we don't want to get COVID, and we don't want to give it to anybody else, which would almost be worse. Uh, so, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. So maybe we'll do a stream. We haven't really talked about it. There's a lot of possibilities in there, and I guess we really haven't thought about. Your country's in the red zone. Where are you located, Maya? I guess I don't really. Yeah, you're on. I've never really. I never asked you that because like, and you're on the streams all the time, so uh, might as well get to know you a little more. Because you're here all the time, and like you're awesome, and like you're moderating for us now, which is fantastic. And like, yeah, Poland. Okay. Did it ever die down? Did it like die down and come back, or was it just like it's just been crazy the whole time? Because I know there are some European countries where like everything seemed to be going great, and then as soon as it was going great, everybody's like, "Sweet, everything's fixed. We can all take our masks off now and go crazy," and then everything comes back because it's not over. And the birds get less and less details. They get smaller and smaller, off in the distance, until they basically turn into little dots. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Maya. And I definitely I empathize, and I completely understand because we're in the same boat. We can't leave the country either, and we can't. I mean, can't really don't really want to go. We could technically go places in the U.S., but don't really want to. We're just kind of, and it's unfortunate because we're all hunkered down, trying to stay safe and do the right thing. And there's enough people out there who aren't interested in everybody else, making the people who are suffer longer but let's do what we got to do. Hopefully by next year there's some sort of vaccine or something to help us move on. All right. We got those. So now we're gonna. Now we got our bird. That's gonna be in front of the sun. We're gonna actually finish that up here. Let's see. So I think the outer edge is gonna be the darkest part. It's gonna be this. Alright. So here's that. And now, so where are we at with these? Just trying to, gotta keep track of where I'm at with all these colors. No, all these colors of brown. All right. So get that.
He said my shit will too. The guy on mine.
So one thing that I do that's a little bit different than the other artists. You feel bad now? Oh. Do I like it? Well, I mean, everybody, like, nobody's ever, we've never seen each other. We've never heard everybody's voice. So I don't think that's, I think everybody will be okay. As far as candy corn, though, back to a sweeter subject. Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like we've never, uh, you know, we've only seen each other via text, on a chat. So it's, don't beat yourself up too hard. Yeah, it wasn't. It was it was an accident. Uh, and like it's not it was it's called an accident. Uh, for a reason. It wasn't an on purpose, I guess. I don't know what the opposite of an accident would be, but like, yeah. But anyways, candy corn. Uh, I don't hate it. I'm not like enamored with it. Uh, but I also have like a fairly insatiable sweet tooth. So really, I can tolerate slash kind of like almost anything that's sweet. So it wouldn't be my first choice if I was picking out candy. But if I was having a really hard sugar craving and it was literally the only thing around, I would eat it. And I wouldn't be upset that I ate it. I mean, I'd probably be upset that I ate it, but I wouldn't be like, it would do the job. Ghost peppers aren't that bad. I've eaten ghost peppers. Actually had was the hottest one of, I think it was the hottest hot sauce in the world. I'm not sure. There was a hot sauce store in Boston, and Hank, Dana, and I went there. We were there for an event, and we had a day, so we just kind of wandered around like we always do, because what else are you going to do? Like, you're in a city that you're not usually in. Let's go look at stuff. Yeah, there was a hot sauce store that we all went to, and I really like hot food, probably more so than anybody else in the company. Like, I was in heaven, and yeah, they had tortilla chips you could take and like have a sample, and I tried their hottest hot sauce, and like honestly, like it was hot. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not immune, but it was actually really good. I enjoyed the flavor of it, and I was, fine in a few minutes. Now, it could be that it was all just marketing and it really wasn't the hottest hot sauce in the world. And that if I really got the hottest hot sauce in the world, I'd be a big giant baby. Because I'll never rule that out. That's I mean, Sky Kid, I you know, I might or might not be okay. I won't say I could definitely do that. Yeah, I am human. Pain does definitely affect me, and like hot stuff definitely burns. Maybe I'm a sadist a little bit since I like that. I don't know, but yeah, licorice. I'm not a big fan of licorice either. I saw that pop up in there. My thing is like chocolate. That's my thing. Like chocolate, and then like pies or breads, like apple bread or zucchini bread or any of those things are heaven to me. I think he says I'm a vampire because I'm old. I'm not the oldest artist at Pancakes though. That distinction actually falls on Ryan. Or I don't know if Ryan is still here or not, but he's the grand champion of oldest Pancake artist, and followed by Lee, and then me. I'm actually the third oldest Pancakes artist. Oh. Either way, I don't mind being called a vampire because vampires are cool. So, for whatever reason it is, I'm okay with it. All right. Now we got that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try something here. Nothing crazy. Just a little bit of a reflection from the sun into that. See how that pans out. So we got that. So we got our grass. I'm gonna notch that off right there. All right. So we want to give darkish edge. Actually, I'm gonna extend this grass just measure. All right. So we want to have the top edge of this to be a little darker since it's a sunset. So I want to give the impression that it's getting darker outside. So let's see. Let me see what browns I have here. I want to make sure I do this. I don't want to end up with not enough browns. So I got plain right there. Yeah, I think this will work fine. Start here. Actually, this is slightly darker brown than when I started with, so this will be perfect. Start here. So I started talking about this a little bit a second ago, sort of talking about the process that I have, how it differs from the other artists. Like I don't, whenever I'm doing more detailed pancakes like this, I don't actually turn the griddle on at all up until the point I'm ready to finish the pancake. And part of what that allows, part of the reason for that is it allows me to blend colors as I go. Like I can blend them directly on the griddle. And I put down my lines and everything are so thin, they actually get a little bit of Ryan, glad that you, the father, yes, you are all of our dads, Ryan. Ryan and I are both, we're closer to 40 now than we are to 30. For better or worse. Hey, thanks, boy.
There's a two-step for Pancake Studio Patreon. Just verify the two-step.
Oh.
Just give me just test it.
Nope.
But it needs a two-step, which goes to your phone.
All right. Had to talk business there for a second. $1992. Man, that was my. Wait, I was in second. I was going into second grade in 1992. Remember my second grade teacher's name was Mrs. Beck. Good teacher. She was also the teacher that everyone dreaded getting, because she was also the teacher who, if the students got too rowdy, she had no problems say snapping, because I think that's the wrong word for it. It wasn't, but like, she'd tell us to shut up and we'd listen. So, because we were second graders and like dumb kids do dumb stuff, won't stay quiet when they're supposed to, and all that fun stuff. I was the oldest artist here for a while, so it was. And then Lee came on, and all of a sudden I wasn't the oldest anymore. And then Ryan came on, and I was definitely not. And like, well, definitely like we're all so close together. Ryan's barely older than me. Lee's like 6 months older than me. Like it doesn't really count. Like when I say I'm not the oldest artist at Dan Cake, it's like Dan Cakes is like only barely, only in a way that almost doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna turn the bad boy on. We'll see how this one turns out. This one's a bit. Say out of all of them, this one's probably the mostest, the biggest sort of leap. As far as like, I'm not sure, because it's very simple on one level, but I also added some stuff to it, and I'm not sure. We'll see if it translates or not. And then the third one is there's very little tie-in with an actual reference. So that one's not as much of a stretch because it's literally just, most of it's just coming straight out of my head. I'm not interpreting anything like I am here. See, right now we've got 11 people across all platforms. So it's a little chill. That's okay. It seems to ebb and flow so much. Like on the Sunday stream, we were sitting right around 150 or so for the vast majority of the stream. You know, I know on the last stream that I did, we were sitting around 25 to 30 people. Yeah. The algorithm's weird. Of course, it also could be that we're just not entertaining enough too. Like I can't. Sure, the algorithm gets to take some blame, but probably not all of it. Pisces. I know so little about astronomical signs. I know I'm a Libra. I know my family are Virgos. Literally everyone, I mean, my immediate family, all of my immediate family are all Virgos. I'm the only Libra. We were all born in September. I was just born at the end of September. But I don't, other than that, I'm totally lost. Hey, yeah, I'm 925, so yeah. Well, thank you. I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but thank you. All right, we're just about ready to flip this guy. All right. Let's see how we did here. You ready? Well, I'm gonna make sure that it stays on the overhead here. So I'll make sure it's all right. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Got a little. There you are. Some birds flying off to the sunset, and now they fly off the camera. Alright, turn this guy off. Do a quick recap here. So let's see, we got our fried egg here. We got our, and try to get them where the chat, why the camera switched on me. There we go, switch it back. So, got our fried egg, and we got our birds. And now I'm gonna pop the element out of this griddle here and start on our next one. And I'm gonna pull up my already nice and cool griddle here from the that I had sitting off to the side. That way. I do this every time. I got my arm under it and it wants to pull out the tray when I set it down. There we go. All right. Also, one nice thing about our griddle, I don't know if y'all are aware, but it's got these sweet handles on it. I'm gonna turn it this way so you can actually, unlike most griddles, you can actually grab this one and pick it up and not burn the crap out of your hands, which is awesome. Thanks. I guess technically that would be kind of Halloween themed right there. For all right, so I'm gonna wipe the crud off of this one from my first pancake. Awesome. I'm glad you like it. I love working with color, and I love playing with color and substituting colors and all that stuff. Like I tend to do a lot of that at events and stuff because you kind of have to, because you're limited by your palette. You only have so many colors. And like, I love doing that stuff. But then I also love just simplifying the palette. Like, cause I have all these browns, and so it's simplified to that extent, but I'm not limited to what I can do. I can do anything with these. You know, it's I always tell people, it's like, everybody knew Lucy's hair was red. How'd you know that? You know, you can still, even though you're not seeing the colors, you can still feel the colors, I guess would be the best way to put it. I don't know, but I like both of them are fun in their own unique way, and I really enjoy just playing with that type of stuff and seeing what can happen. So let's see here. Where's my last one? Okay. There we go. All right. Oh, what? Now I want to scroll up in the chat and see what I missed. Oh, where's my mouse? There it is. Oh, yeah. She is. I agree. Being empathetic is a great. It's a great trait, and honestly, I think probably one of the most important traits. So I don't really ascribe to, say, like a religious line of way of being, or I always tell people that I stick to the Bill and Ted way of being, which is just be excellent to each other, which is just having empathy for your fellow human. Because if you do that, everything else takes care of itself. And if you don't have that, well, then you end up where we are now. Okay, so this is final piece. And so first two ones were pretty you can cry happy tears if you feel happy tears. All right, so anyways, sorry, I got sidetracked looking at the chat. So the next pancake is gonna be a more original piece. I'm working off a really basic silhouette reference, and really I'm only using that for the anatomy of it. And it's I don't know if I want to describe, it's going to be kind of a weird one. It's definitely going to be different, and it's definitely going to be open to a lot of different interpretations. But I think, if anything, the title of the stream represents this particular piece. And it involves a man in a suit. But I think, but we'll start and we'll see where it goes, and I imagine at some point it'll start to come together what it is or what it represents or anything like that. If it represents anything. So where I want to start with this. So I'm working on a silhouette. I'm not actually making it as a silhouette. Well, here, how about I'll show you guys, because I feel like I'm being too vague about everything. So, like, this is the reference I'm starting with. It's a very basic reference. And I'm still being vague about it, obviously, but might give some idea of at least what's being made. You're not just sitting here guessing, like, what is that supposed to be, until I finally get to the point where it's obvious. But the reference is only a small piece of the entire piece. We'll slightly bigger gap so that he's not wearing. He's got nicely fitted, tapered jeans, pants on, slacks. Yeah. Actually, just let me just step out 1 second. All right, he's aware. All right. Yeah, no problem. I want to get too in the minutia of like fixing all these little mistakes, because it's not a piece that necessarily calls for extreme perfection as far as the details are concerned. Oops, of course, I just ran my hand right across his pant leg. Alright, that's easy enough mistake to fix. There we go, he's got pants again. Okay. So now, got the basics. That. Yeah, I'd say it's a little spooky. It's certainly, I mean, it wasn't quite intended to be like, say, like a Halloween thing, but it's certainly intended to do, I don't know, to evoke something or nothing. I don't know. I always think of pieces that I do like this. I did one a while back where it was like a man inside a fish's mouth being sucked into a, endless vortex void thing, and it's like that means absolutely nothing. Like, it's just a weird piece of imagery that kind of makes you go, huh? And I like that kind of stuff because, like, it has no specific meaning. I'm not trying to, this is my interpretation of the things that ill society or what have you. It could be that, but it doesn't have to be that. Say Anna, I totally understand where you're coming with my sleep, like, because of all of this stuff that's been happening, and because regular schedules have basically gone out the window. I have no sleep schedule. It's yeah. So I'll be up for all hours of the night, or I'll be going to bed at 10 o'clock, or I'll go to bed at or I'll randomly fall asleep at like 8, watching a TV show or something, and I'll wake up at like 3 in the morning, and be like, oh, I'm up now, and then I'm just up for the rest of the day, and it, none of it, it's just all over the place. None of it makes any. I guess maybe that's the way humans used to live. Just kind of falls. It's like, I'm tired. I'll go to bed now, and I'm not tired. I guess I'll wake up. But obviously, that's not been the way we've lived for a long time. So not having. Yeah, yeah, something like that, Becca. Anything that. Anything that interrupts your normal way of thinking, like this, because yeah, that's what makes you actually think. Because we all think in patterns, and we have these ways of approaching things that aren't based on anything other than habit, and doing things or being in places that sort of make you uncomfortable in a sense, force you out of that, and then all of a sudden, like, now you're thinking for real. And I like that. I like doing that. I do that. Like, I try to do that to myself whenever I can, because like change is inevitable. It's gonna happen. So like, either get on board and like make it the change you want, or it's just going to be the change that is going to be. Like, you don't have total control over it, obviously, because life is chaos, but at least pushing yourself in a direction is a good thing, instead of letting life do it for you. I had a weird dream last night. My dreams are never consistent. I don't really have the only reoccurring dream I have that I can think of is where I go back to high school, which uh I can almost guarantee that it relates to the fact that I didn't graduate high school. I dropped out of high school, which don't do kids, stay in school. But I dropped out of high school and I went to college because I screwed up so much my freshman year, especially, that there was no way I was going to graduate on time. And Foxen running away. Oof. That's frightening. Hmm. That doesn't sound like fun, Maya. I guess I'm fortunate I've never had that, but my mom has very vivid nightmares, and sometimes that has definitely, I mean, more than I know about, I'm sure, but yeah, they feel real to her. And I'm lucky I've never had to personally experience that, because from what I've seen, it's not a whole lot of fun to deal with. For sure. I'm dream interpretation. I'm not sure if dreams mean anything, uh, but they sure are interesting to talk about. So, okay. Makes sense that you get the dreamiest, you have the weirdest dreams when you're sick. Your brain's not working right. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on. Like you, I know sometimes just being awake feels like you're dreaming whenever you're really sick. All right. You are, yeah, Becca, you are the first one, the former. Which is why I was saying I think it lines up very well with the title of the stream. Thank you. Fire's fun to draw because you can't. The more chaotic you make it, the more it looks like fire. You can't really mess it up. I mean, you can. I definitely don't want to. I want to open my mouth too soon here. Can't mess up fire at all, and not done yet. Thank you. That's one thing I like, and I have these bottles here that I use. These actually have. Unfortunately, these aren't for sale yet on our website, but at some point they will be. But they have much even finer tips than the ones that the other artists use, and I really like those because I can really dig into adding really small details and texture without a lot of effort, or I guess it lends to like getting. I was talking earlier about getting like watercolor-esque sort of gradients and things in there, and these really fine tips help with that because you don't have because you can lay down such thin line work from the get-go. and so it's mildly transparent, and then allows you to, like, whatever you put over the back of that line work, those details will actually shine through a little bit and give you these cool gradients and just shifts in color that adds texture and sometimes a little realism to it, because it sort of adds to it's almost a little chaotic. I guess I always say I like to add a little chaos into my art, but if I can help it, I want that to be chaos that I'm in. You know, it's contradictory, but like I want to be able to at least to have control of that chaos, or to at least, because you see a lot of oil painters and stuff will have all, it'll be this realistic painting or surrealistic portrait, and there'll be like these weird swoops of blue in there that don't really technically fit, but they just add this sort of life to it that feels it takes it out of it's sort of like a style where it sort of breaks your normal line of thinking to a certain extent. Like it evokes something that it wouldn't if it was just a very straightforward realistic portrait. Let's see here. I'm gonna pick the best colors. It's definitely a process I'm still figuring out, because it's not something that you can do at a live event because there's not enough time. So oh yeah, definitely. You will definitely regret not trying sushi out. I didn't eat sushi. There's a lot of foods I didn't eat when I was younger. I don't know why. And maybe I got it from my parents. I don't know, because like they have this. My parents have never eaten Indian food, and they seem to have no particular inclination to do so. And I'm just like, why? Like, you're not. It's if you hate it, then whatever. You're out of one meal. And you had one bad meal. Whoop-de-doo. But if you like it, then it's like, well, now you just found something new to like, and that's freaking awesome. Very, very little to lose. Whole lot to gain. I don't even eat fish, but like there's plenty of veggie sushi options out there. So it definitely doesn't stop me from eating it. Not that I don't like fish. I grew up on fish. I just stopped eating a while ago. Yeah, lots of good veggie sushi options, right? Yeah, right happy if the raw fish thing is what gets you. So I can understand that. Okay. Let this solidify for a bit. We're gonna finish off our flames here. It's in there. Great. All right. I think we're edging up towards the finishing this piece right here. So do a little bit of this lighter brown here. And I'll let that sit for a second and move back to suit, and then I'll be ready to fill it in with the plain batter. And while we're waiting on that, we can work on the ground here. Get some texture and life to the earth. It's going to be a big pancake. It's going to be a fun one to flip. Just nice. Get the detail there. Okay. Just be a little more sort of slapped on because a lot going on. The lighting would be all over the place on something like this. There's no reason to get too caught up in it or try to be too perfect with it. Okay, now let's see. Let's see what browns I haven't used. So there's some, so I'm not laying down something that doesn't have any contrast behind it. Burying details. Which really, I think if I just go with my darkest brown, I think I'd be in the clear. For the most part. Okay. A few little spots here to fill in. Then we can start cooking and figure out. So I've got white flames. Gotta make sure. Gotta make sure that it doesn't cover those. At some point, you just gotta make a decision. Is it the right one? Maybe. got that. And the rest of this, we're going to try to do a mixture of outlining and this needs a dark color. It's pretty. Actually, no, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn the griddle on here because we're pretty much ready to start cooking. I'm going to outline these parts a very bright white. Since we've covered up the white of flames, it shouldn't interfere. Shouldn't destroy any of that contrast with the rest of it. May just give us an interesting glow too around the edges, the really thin line work here. We'll see though. A little bit of a toss up here. Actually, the hardest decision about this pancake is how to outline it rather than some of the decisions as far as like how to draw it. And then the rest of it, now we've got that, we're going to do lean batter to fill in all these gaps. Otherwise, they will most definitely break off. We do not want any of these awesome, hopefully awesome flames to break off when I try to flip this very large pancake. Let's get some more plain batter in here. Part of what I'm doing is when the batter sits on the griddle for that long, it loses some of its volume. So it's these really flat areas that are kind of weak. And there's not a lot of structural integrity to them, so I like to make sure I go over them and thicken it all up so that way, one, it survives the flip. Two, if it's worth preserving, it'll survive the freeze dryer. Sometimes these guys will crack. Oh shoot, I should have. I hope that part cooks fast enough. I should have put some batter there. Cooking it at a lower temperature than normal, so should give some extra time to. Okay. Might be a 2 spatula flip. Just a smidge longer. Thanks, Becca. I certainly hope so. That's what I'm going for. Anytime I'm at an event and somebody says, "Oh wow, that's amazing," I say, "Cool, that's what I was going for." All of us have we've done it so much, and I mean, a good reaction is a good reaction no matter what. It feels good, but we've heard a lot of the same ones, so we've got this like stable of like canned responses. It's almost like a stand-up routine sometimes, because you've said the same thing so many times that you sort of you find the beats and like you refine how you tell your story and all this stuff over time, and I find the most entertaining way of saying it. Almost there with breaking it loose. I'm gonna let it cook just a smidge longer to make sure it's got the structural integrity to survive this flip. I think it's just, yeah, we're unstuck. It's just heavy. This pancake has accumulated much mass. I think I can do this with just a single spatula. I think it's perfectly plausible that we'll have an extra long, extra wide spatula. There was a while back when we were using griddles, just store-bought griddles. I tried. It didn't work, but I had a comically large spatula. It was a comically large spatula. It was literally like this wide and this long. It was for barbecue, and I tried using it, but it was so big that I literally couldn't flip a pancake without actually hitting the camera and the light above our griddle that we had at events. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I ain't mad at that at all. Thanks, Rahab. And thanks everybody else too. I'm happy with this one. I'm happy with all my pancakes today. Put a whole lot of batter on the back of that. It actually, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but whenever I flipped it over, it made a splat noise. Pancake is giant. All right, I'm gonna get this on a plate. And I'm gonna set all of my pancakes on the overhead here. Yeah, that was exactly what it was. Guy kid, just a big splat noise. Get off of there. There we go. Okay. I'll wipe this guy off real quick. Take this out and set it off to the side. Set my griddle off to the side here. On top of the other griddle, because they stack very nicely. Okay. So I'm gonna kill the wide real quick. There we go. All right. So that's all the pancakes for today. I had a good time, and I feel like I'm happy with the pancakes that we got out of it. So yeah, I think what we're going to be trying to do what we're going to try to do going forward is we're going to have every artist is going to have their own day of the week. So I think Friday is going to be my day of the week, and then I think I want to say Monday is going to be Dana, Wednesday is going to be Dan. I'm not 100% sure on that one though. But that's thank you, Becca. I like this palette too. I think I might spend some more time exploring with just doing a brown palette. It's fun and it's different, and trying to figure out how far you can push it. With just, I mean, I only have 6 shades of brown here. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. We'll be back on Sunday with the request stream, 2 to 4, same Pancakes time, same Pancakes place, and hopefully we'll see you all there. And yeah, and then we'll be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday for more Joy of Pancakes, and who knows, maybe we'll start tossing in some other streams here and there too. We're still figuring this all out, and we appreciate you guys figuring it out with us. So I'm gonna awkwardly step to the side here and fade to black. Here, I'll put it on those. That's a good place to fade out. So thanks for hanging out, guys. I had an awesome time, and we'll see you soon. All right, well, that didn't go quite as planned. I went right back. It's supposed to just fade to black, and that was it. So we'll try it again. All right, one more time with feeling. I'll see you guys next time.